Lucas. You probably also know me under the nickname of Mansgeckle. I'm quickly gonna show you around the Transmuter program. It's essentially the side project that Ilmua and I have been working on for the past couple of weeks. And this protocol essentially allows you to a bunch of cool stuff with NFTs, staking, swapping, merging, whatever. You can see it here. Essentially, the only limitations are your creativity. And yeah, I'm gonna quickly show you like the bottom line of it. And yeah, there's a pretty cool documentation which is also extensive. And once again, the code is open source, so feel free to fork it. Create a PR, and if you still have questions or ideas, yeah, feel free to also just send me a DM on Twitter. Good, let's get started. So, at the core, what we have to create is a new transmuter to get it to working state. And let's quickly do that, and I'm gonna then tell you the next steps. I'm not quite sure. I think that one was the new one. So essentially, each transmuter has the ability to have an indefinite number of mutations, and each mutation is essentially an executable that allows the end user and you to do a bunch of stuff and transact tokens. So of course you could also transfer it to someone else, and with that transfer all the mutations that are associated to that transmuter are gonna go with that. Each transmuter gives you 3 bank vaults. Those are used to deposit tokens by the end user. And perhaps let me take a step back. So while reading through the documentation and the code, you're gonna stumble across 2 major definitions all the time. Those are going to be maker and taker vaults or accounts. So we, as the project owners, we're the makers. We're funding the pools essentially, and yeah, we own the transmuters and the mutations. The taker is the end user that would execute the mutation to receive something in return. So now that those are defined, let's jump into the first bank, and yeah, let's see what we can do here. So a bank, as I said, is essentially the vehicle that is used for the taker to deposit stuff into. We can leave it blank, and meaning that the taker can deposit anything into it, or we can essentially whitelist a wallet or a mint. Let's take first example, this cute SMB for example. So either we could whitelist the mint itself, so SMB number 1 here, or we could say that we want to allow any SMB, which probably makes more sense. And here it is important to hover over to the metadata, then to the creators, and take the first instance in the creators array and take that address and use it. Let's quickly whitelist this. Check, do we have the right wallet? Yeah. Good, whitelisted. Then let's go to the next one. For the next one, I'm just going to use a plain fungible token. Important, use the mint and not the token account. So whitelist the mint. It's going to take a second. And we're going to leave bank C blank. So for a new mutation, we have a bunch of settings we can change. So let's call it the GM mutation. We're gonna make it usable for 10 times, so 10 users in total. Each mutation is gonna take 10 seconds. It's gonna cost 0.1 Solana. We could enable the reversal of mutations. This is useful if you, let's say, you have 2 collections and you want to allow your takers to switch between the two. So you would allow the reversal, and by reversing it they're locked inside the walls, but you're gonna see that in a bit. Actually, I can show you right now. See, they're locked. Now the maker walls, so those are the walls that we fund to essentially then reward the users. And just for the sake of simplicity, we're going to use that one because I have it in my wallet. And we're going to fund it with 5,000 tokens. It's going to automatically calculate the amount per use, and could also just reverse it, and yeah, you get it. The other two walls we're going to leave blank. We don't have to necessarily specify them. Can be asynchronous in a way, so you could have two funded here and one required here, or vice versa, whatever fits. As for the taker vaults, we have already whitelisted the ones, or added the addresses to the whitelist. And since the first one was the SMB, we're going to require one SMB, and now to the interesting changes that are also super important. So we have three options here. First one is doing nothing. So once a mutation is done, the taker can then withdraw his SMB from the vault and he gets it back. So it's essentially like a yield farm. You get the tokens and you can withdraw your collateral in a way. Second option is to lock whatever the taker deposited. This you have to be careful with, because once you enable this, your precious NFT will be gone forever. You might ask why this is useful. Well, simple answer: for burning tokens. Let's say you have an NFT collection that somehow isn't right, so instead of requiring users to arbitrarily and manually have to send it to a wallet, you just require them to deposit the old one and get a new one in return, which is quite cool and makes things easier. Changing the owner is useful for an escrow account. Let's say you want to trade an NFT for a different one, but you don't trust the counterparty, which is something that you usually shouldn't do, right? So you're going to use the Transmuter program to swap the NFTs. And this is essentially then a secure way to trade NFTs. Next one, we require some fungible token. Let's say the taker has to deposit 50 tokens, and we are gonna lock them as well. Also for the SMB, they're locked forever. Too bad. So last one, we're gonna just omit it, and let's just jump onto confirming all the transactions. So it's gonna take a few, don't be surprised, it's all intended. So we have the first one, GM mutation, cool. See a bunch of stuff here. We could also destroy it, but we're not going to do that right now. We have all the receipts, so every time it's executed we can see it here. Also, this page is not just restricted to the owner. I could also access it if I wasn't the owner of the transmuter, so it's all transparent and on-chain and all the good stuff. So let's go over to the mutation. Actually, by the way, I need to change my wallet here because I have too many SMBs in this wallet. It's DevNet, by the way, so don't judge. It's gonna take forever to load, so that's why I'm quickly gonna change my wallet. Oh, it has already loaded. So you see, I have two SMBs in this wallet, and this SPL, this normal fungible token. So we can switch between, we can choose between the two. If we didn't specify one, we would have an input field and requiring us to just put in any mint that we have and has some tokens. So I think let's take the one with the pirate hat. Let's deposit them. Also, once again, requires us to sign a bunch of stuff. Make sure that you sign them all correctly. Otherwise it's gonna bark at you and you don't want that. Second to last, I think, or the last one. Let's hope this is the last one. Cool, worked. 6 more seconds left. SMB is out of our wallet. And mutation complete. We can claim our tokens. Cool, worked. Mutation complete. We can't reserve our mutation. Yeah, our SMB's gone forever, and also those tokens. We should have a bit more than before. Yeah, see. And yeah, this is more or less it. Actually, let me jump back to the no. Let me jump back to the GM mutation, which is CC complete, and yeah, that's more or less it. We're gonna continuously build this one further out, and yeah, let me hear your feedback and your ideas, and yeah, I think I'm gonna have to sleep now, and yeah, have a great time. Bye.